All right. Hello, my name is Lindsay Zilli, and I'm the Director of Professional Learning for Illinois Digital Educators Alliance, and I am so glad that you've decided to join us today. Today, we are talking about all the summer programming opportunities for every kind of learner. If you are new to Kino, please feel free to keep your camera off, stay on mute. The chat is in the lower left-hand corner. You may ask questions there. We'll also make sure we put your links to any PDHs there or answer any questions there as well. So I'm going to take it away, and we're going to start with a little overview of our summer programming. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen because I can't see you.
Looks good, Lindsay.
All right, thank you. So on our website, ideaillinois.org, you can easily find all things summer programming under the Events tab right here. And we have decided to create a couple different pathways for you learners to be able to peruse during your summertime off. So everything is listed on this page of the website. And I'm going to unpack each and every one of these so that you know what is available for you. But don't forget, save the date for IdeaU. It will be back once again, totally virtual, in August to help rekindle your spark and help you find your why once again within education. So let's take a look, though, at what the programming for this summer looks like unpacked. Gotta love Canva. Okay, so the Summer Pathways program is a 3-tiered type of program. So we have MicroPD sessions, workshops, and cohorts. So if you have very, very little time or just really don't want to dig too deeply into summer learning, MicroPD is for you. These are asynchronous pathways for you to be able to watch some video content on a given topic and do it at your leisure. We do have a pacing guide set up for the MicroPD series, so kind of help you hold yourself accountable, but all in all, it is asynchronous. There is a capstone project, though, that allows you to meet in person with some experts in that field to help you kind of take your ideas from concept to practice, creating an action plan on some most important topics, things like computer science, so that it makes its way back into your classroom. The second tier is our workshops. So if you have a little bit more time or want to dig in a little bit more to some summer learning, our workshops are full-day programs, and they're anywhere from 5 to 6 hours worth of trainings. We found some really cool locations throughout the state in order to do those workshop trainings. We believe very strongly that professional learning needs to be equitable, and so these workshops are actually going to travel from the northern part of Illinois to the southern part of Illinois. So if you are someone who's used to having PD readily available because you're in the northern part of the state, we'll have workshops for you, but those located in central and southern Illinois, there also are going to be opportunities for learning for you as well, because these same workshops will be finding their way down to southern Illinois to help meet the needs of those teachers. It's not always fair to be able to have to travel so far up to northern Illinois to get the best PD, so we're bringing it to you. And then lastly, if you have a little bit more time on your hands, which, let's face it, who does? But if you'd like to do some more summer learning, the bigger chunk of our Pathways program is our summer cohorts. Some of these cohorts are 1 month long, others are up to 6 months long, most of which are accountability groups that are asynchronous with some synchronous components. So I'll unpack each of the various options of MicroPD, workshops, and cohorts that we have available, and I'll even give you a sneak peek of some fall programming that we've started to create for you. So let's start with our cohorts. These, again, are our longer, timely, immersive groups that help hold you accountable to some given content. The cohorts that we have already set up for you are based on feedback that we are currently getting from all educators throughout the state, based on information that we see on our professional learning networks, on Twitter, on the conferences we go to. And so we try to curate opportunities for learning based on you, the teacher in the classroom. So choose your own adventure. What is the area that most resonates with you? The first cohort is a completely asynchronous option, and it is called Disinformation Cybersecurity. This is a 4-week cohort. It begins in August, and you get 4 hours of asynchronous work per week. There is one synchronous virtual session in which you will meet with the designer of the cybersecurity curriculum, and you'll get a total of 16 professional development hours. This cohort is a really great opportunity for you to kind of dip your toe into the world of cybersecurity while also being able to navigate what content online is reliable content for you as a creator, but also for you as the lead learner in your classroom. It's really important that all students receive some sort of learning around disinformation and cybersecurity so that they're actively engaging with content that is relevant, that is reliable online, and using that as part of their projects and presentations. So if it's new to you, this is definitely a great place to start. Again, that accountability group, it'll start in August. And it's really just kind of a self-paced structure leading up to one synchronous session that's 1 hour long and allows you to kind of dig into your big ahas, some obstacles you might have, and ways that you can implement this information in your classroom immediately. The next cohort option is Teaching with Intention. IDEA has worked very hard over this year to have 3 kind of strands where we tied all of our professional learning to. That being said, we have wellness opportunities or social emotional learning, computer science, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our Teaching with Intention cohort is in that world of empathy and social emotional learning. So in this activity, you can expect this 4-week cohort beginning the week of July 7th. You'll have 1 hour of asynchronous work per week, and there will be 4 check-in sessions with a leading expert in empathy-based curriculum, social emotional learning, and pedagogical practices that implement technology tools in ways that help support your learners in that social emotional world. This particular cohort is leveraging a tool called Thrively, which we absolutely love. We will walk you through the self-assessment piece of Thrively that gives you your strengths and your goals. And it's a unique platform in that it provides this goal assessment, and then it also gives you content right there within the Thrively platform that you can work on towards those goals. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, very turnkey, but with it, in addition to that Teaching with Intention content that you're going to dig into. So you'll kind of see how you can leverage Thrively itself as an LMS platform, but you'll also get familiar with the content that lives on Thrively on a normal basis. So that's one you don't want to miss. The next is the Happiness Advantage cohort. So if you were perusing the Twitter world in February, we did a really tiny snippet of the Happiness Advantage book study in which the author sent out a little shout out to us. He was so grateful that we were using his book, but we only did a couple of chapters. This cohort will go through the entire book, and it begins in August, but it will allow you to dig into your mental health. It's one thing to tell teachers they need to take care of themselves and they need to be mindful of social emotional learning, and it's a totally other thing to be able to give them an action plan to do so. So we are putting our money where our mouth is, and we are inviting you to join the Happiness Advantage book study cohort so that you can take that mental break that you so very much need and learn ways to implement balance in your life, establish boundaries, and really get yourself in that mental state where you can be your best version of yourself for your students. This 4-week cohort will have an hour of asynchronous work per week. Again, that accountability group, there'll be a live forum for you to be able to talk in a back channel. And there will be 4 check-in synchronous sessions with myself and with others within the cohort. 8 PDHs will be rewarded, and this applies to teachers, coaches, and administrators. The next cohort that we have available is Design Ed, Connecting Learning Science Research to Practices. And this one is going to be fantastic. I am so excited about learning about the brain research behind, or the why behind what we're doing. And it's so important, I think, for our students to make that connection as well. So we have 2 authors of the book, Design Ed, who have agreed to come on, and starting very, very soon, so this one starts June 2nd, they're going to walk you through their book and the practices behind the research that they did in creating the book. So it's a 4-week cohort. There's 4 hours of asynchronous work per week, an hour synchronous meetup with the authors of the book, for a total of 16 professional development hours. This one's great if you're really trying to connect that what behind, or that why behind what you're doing with students. Again, digging into some best pedagogical practices and learning some great strategies no matter who your learners are, be they students or adults. And then lastly, one of our partners has joined us in creating a Common Sense Media Onboarding Your Students cohort. So at the beginning of the year, I know that it's always chaotic and crazy, and there's so many things that you have to try and do with your students. You have to get to know them. You have to get them signed into all of their things. You have to make sure they understand the way the room is organized and your rules and norms. And so Common Sense is curating some really great content to help you onboard your students in a streamlined fashion. So whether you're trying to get your students to log into the same LMS or navigate online in a safe and effective way, very easily, but also by building in some really great content pieces and teachable moments based on media literacy and civics as well. So this 4-week cohort will begin July 18th. There's 4 hours of asynchronous session per week. So you'll be able to touch base with the creators of the cohort from Common Sense and kind of bounce ideas off of them in designing your back to So if anything, you join a cohort and you get to be a part of a group of like-minded individuals, and therefore building your professional learning network so that we can work smarter, not harder. Hopefully one of these cohorts has sparked a little interest in you, but if not, there's more to come with our workshops. Our workshops are, again, those full-day sessions that are traveling across the state in some cases. And these are the ones that we have offered for this summer. The first workshop is a computer science workshop. If you're in education, I'm sure you've heard that there are tons of changes coming down the pipeline with regards to computer science and computer literacy. This computer science workshop is a full-day in-person session that will be hosted in Joliet, Illinois. It's on July 12th, and it is a 5-hour session with a 1-hour break. It will also be live streamed, so there is the potential for it to be virtual. But during this session, leaders in the computer science field are going to help you build a toolkit for implementation of the computer science standards in your districts. So you'll be able to unpack the standards and then see how they integrate with the things you're already teaching, and then build a framework or a frame of reference for all of your teachers to kind of get on the same page. How do we all get started with computer science? This is the workshop that will help you do just that. The next is one that we're very excited about, the Lead Yourself Wellness Admin Academy and workshop. So this one is specifically designed for administrators, but it's also open to any teachers because it's all about taking ownership of your health and wellness. This one we've already started sending out some pre-work for individuals who have signed up early. It's going to be kicking off next week, but we have enlisted the help from some innovators from Diamond 6, and they've created some phenomenal content to help you take ownership over your wellness. Again, it's all about establishing those boundaries to make sure that you are comfortable in the role you play as a lead learner in your classroom. Hopefully, you find some time to sign up for this one. It is going to be incredible. This one is going to give Admin Academy credit as well as professional development hours. You pick one or the other based on your role. Our third workshop is a disruptors workshop on equity. So this one is a little bit unique because it's almost a hybrid of our workshops and our cohorts. So we're very excited to announce, and I think this is the first time we're able to officially announce that Dr. Sheldon Eakins and Dr. Sosan Jaber will be leading this Disruptors workshop. There will be 2 opportunities to learn, one in the northern suburbs and one in southern Illinois. And this full day session will be all about unpacking microaggressions, taking a deeper look at our personal bias, but really figuring out ways to disrupt the system that needs changing. But in addition to that full day workshop, you will also be enrolled in a 5-6 month cohort that is all virtual. So you'll be able to check in with Dr. Eakins and Dr. Jaber that entire time, following up with a roundtable event at IdeaCon. So if you join this workshop, it automatically enrolls you in the workshop, the virtual cohort, and you get a day at IdeaCon. The whole idea behind this is to meet with like-minded individuals, create kind of an action plan where you can start this equity work in your district, try it out, test the waters, see what works, see where you have some obstacles, and then reflect at the conference in person with each other and try and build off of each other's successes. How can we all work together to make sure that these most important topics are being discussed in districts across the state, across the nation, across the world? So that one is super exciting. We're finalizing all the details on that. We have an amazing web designer who's put all of her heart and soul. Heather's on right now, so thank you, Heather, for building that for us. And it's a really cool addition to our summer programming. And then lastly, our final workshop is called Neurodivergence Unite. This one I'm super excited about because I think all of us really learn and think differently than we ever have before. I think the pandemic has impacted us in ways that allow us to see the world from a new lens almost. And so I think it's important that we address the way that we teach and the way that our students learn. So this full day in-person session, again, will be hosted in 3 different places throughout the state. It's going to be a 5-hour day with a break for lunch, but your instructors will be able to guide you through different paths for meeting the needs of your neurodivergent learners. And some might argue that we're all neurodivergent, and we'll be able to unpack those conversations in person together. Shameless plug, our Central Illinois workshop for neurodivergence will be at an amazing game store called Cabbages and Kings, and if you haven't visited yet, I highly recommend that you do. But I also have a quick breakdown of all of these workshops here kind of outlined for you. The CS workshop is all about debunking misconceptions of computer science and really just design thinking through the lens of CS in general. It'll then take you through that deep dive and then finally give you that opportunity to create your toolkit. The Lead Yourself workshop is focused on self-care, but also really taking that time right then and there to take care of your wellness, your mental health, engage in weekly conversations, build that accountability group so that you have your people that you check in on and that check in on you. Our Disruptors workshop plus cohort is all about having those interactions with students where we can create those safe spaces for equity work to begin. So we've got those powerhouse presenters who are going to help guide those conversations so that we can have some strategic implementation of equity work within our buildings as soon as possible. And then again, that Neurodivergence Unite, there's going to be several different ways that you can bring the design thinking into your classroom with regards to using the neurodivergent student as your audience that you would like to meet the needs for. We want learning to be accessible for everyone, and so this is a great way to do just that. Now let's take a look at our summer MicroPD. If you are just ready to wear pajamas all day, if you want to be out by the pool, or just sitting in your backyard, or really you just need to decompress in the dark, summer MicroPD is for you. There are two different options. The first being our computer science MicroPD. This one is super exciting. Just briefly, it's 4 asynchronous sessions, 30-minute videos that will be housed on our website, and there's a hybrid capstone opportunity for you to build from what you've learned. There are 3 different strands, which I'll break out in a second. Same thing goes for our STEAM MicroPD, 4 asynchronous 30-minute sessions, the hybrid capstone option, and you can take this as a teacher, a coach, or an admin. So what does that look like more in depth? So looking at our CS MicroPD, it is a package which will include a set of diverse professional development offerings in the form of video content. So let's say you sign up for the MicroPD as a teacher. What that means is you will get these 4 videos that are 30 minutes each. Now again, we have set aside time that you will get these videos, but you can watch them whenever you'd like. We're just kind of holding you accountable, giving you a timeline, because we know that deadlines can sometimes be helpful. But if you are a teacher taking this, the first video that you will get is, what is CS? Kind of an explanation, a definition of what computer science is. Because we know computer literacy is now a phrase that's floating out there, and there are 2 totally different things. So you'll get the definition of what is CS. Your instructors will help you master CS. So how do we understand it? Unpacking the CS standards. How do I incorporate this into the work that I'm already doing? How does this make sense in the scheme of teaching literacy, or teaching mathematics, or teaching social studies? And then lastly, equity, inclusion, and belonging in CS. How can we make CS inclusive for all learners and ensure that no matter the access of equipment, or no matter the dynamics of the classroom or where they're located, computer science is something that everyone has available to them no matter what. So that's the teacher strand. But let's say you're a coach, which is near and dear to my heart because I'm a former coach. The first video that you'll get is why computer science. So again, it kind of goes back to that brain research. Why are we teaching computer science? Why are we teaching these life skills and these 21st century learning skills? This is so important for coaches because then you can justify to your teachers or to your admin why these CS standards need to be integrated in everything we're doing. Next, culturally responsive computer science. Inquiry-based instruction, so kind of that design thinking process, leveraging curiosity, both in your teaching learners, your learners that are teachers, and your students. And then finally, identifying instructional supports. So this one's especially exciting because the hardest part about starting something new is finding resources online. So by having this curated list of vetted resources or vetted companies, organizations, people to go to, you'll be able to kind of hit the ground running and not have to guess and check as to whether or not what you're using is really reliable. And then lastly, the final strand is for administrators. How do you launch this idea of CS? How do you incorporate it into all the other initiatives you're already implementing? How do you select the courses or the standards you'd like to start with? Where does the funding come from? And finally, establishing partnerships. So you can see there's a vast difference between how computer science is going to be looked at from a teacher lens versus an admin lens. However, all are equally important and play a role. So you could take this from all three strands if you'd like to. That way you kind of see how all the puzzle pieces fit together. You could also just take it from your own lane as well, though. We're very excited about this, though, because it really gives something for everyone. It allows you to see that connection between roles in a school district, but it also models how CS should be integrated throughout everything that we do, if you're a teacher, a coach, or an administrator. Next, we have broken down our STEAM professional learning in the same way. So if you're a teacher, you're going to learn the what is STEAM. So it's STEAM, it's STREAM, it's STEM, but what is it really? There is fake STEAM, and then there is like that cookie cutter STEAM, and then there is like the legit design process that is STEAM. We'll talk a little bit about backwards design with our teachers. We'll unpack STEAM in general. So how do I look at the different strands of STEAM itself? And then again, equity, inclusion, and belonging in STEAM. If you're a coach, we're going to go back to the why in STEAM. We'll talk about STEAM in action. Are we going to have a big STEAM room, or are we going to have a STEAM initiative where all teachers participate in it? We'll talk about inquiry-based instruction, and then identifying instructional supports. And then finally, admin, once again, how do we launch this initiative for STEAM? How do we select specific goals for being successful? What's our success criteria? How do we identify funds? A lot of this has to go into grant writing or seeking out resources from organizations that are offering pilot programs. And then lastly, establishing partnerships. Once again, you can take individual strands or you can take all three of them. They're all asynchronous video content that will be provided to you in the months of June and July. All right, so that's what we have for this summer. In addition to our Wednesday webinars, in addition to our work with Microsoft, Google, Apple, we have all of our free stuff still out there. And don't forget, Idea U in August, the first week of August, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, is also one of our really big virtual conferences to help reignite your spark in learning. But let's take a look, just a sneak peek since you're here, at some of the fall programming. And this will begin in September. So we have been working around the clock on a certification program called Teach for Impact. And this is a 10-module cohort that is going to help IDEA educators and educators throughout the state of Illinois really fundamentally understand how to create impactful lessons that resonate with all students. This one will end in a capstone project that you'll be able to bring back to your classroom and implement right away. We also have our CS MicroPD happening again in fall because we know computer science is not going away. We also are really excited about our Innovating with Standards. We know that standards can be a dirty word to some people, so we want to help you unpack standards in ways that make sense to you. We're going to do the same sort of MicroPD that I've already outlined with those strands for teacher, coach, and administrator. A lot of the work we'll do here is debunking misconceptions, looking at standards that are specific to your district, but also specific to the state, and talk about how do we unpack these? How do we integrate multiple standards and really layer in various standards to make the most impact on our students? This one is super exciting, and we can't wait for this one to come about. And then again, inclusion has been a really big thread throughout all the professional learning that we've been doing all year long, and we're going to continue that sort of way of thinking in the next school year as well. So we'll have some inclusion MicroPD opportunities, and this again will talk about the basics of inclusion, how exclusion cannot be the baseline for how we meet the needs of learners. We have to do better. So how can we examine our implicit bias? How can we unpack those? How can we see inclusion in action? Who can we reach out to? All of the things that we need to make sure that all of the needs of our learners are being met as a teacher, as a coach, as an administrator. So that inclusion MicroPD will be available as well. Let's pop back over to our website though, because I want to show you our Disruptors Collective Journey to Justice workshop. Because this one's unique, I want to make sure everybody understands how this is going to work. So when you sign up for this particular workshop, you get a 5-hour in-person workshop that will happen on August 4th or August 5th, depending on if you sign up for the Northern or the Southern workshop. So August 4th will be in Southern Illinois and August 5th will be in Northern Illinois. After that, you'll be able to attend virtually a cohort or an accountability group that will be about 20 asynchronous hours worth of work throughout August all the way to February. So we're not trying to overwhelm you with all the work. We're just trying to give you some check-in pieces to be able to create an action plan that's going to work for your learners. In addition, you'll also receive 1 full day at IdeaCon. So the price of registration includes that in-person workshop, the cohort, and a full day at IdeaCon because we think it's so important that you meet in person with like-minded individuals, share your story, and have an opportunity to meet with other people who need to hear your story, who can give you advice, or who can ask you questions to help push your work forward. You'll be able to present your work and you'll be acknowledged at the conference. You'll be able to have those conversations. And then this piece I forgot to mention earlier, Dr. Eakins has a new book coming out in July called Leading Equity, Becoming an Advocate for All Students. And with your registration to this particular workshop, you will get a free copy of his book. It's something that we're super excited to share. You're going to be able to work with the author of the book. You'll be able to meet him in person because both Dr. Eakins and Dr. Jaber will be at IdeaCon to help you unpack and have those conversations about your equity project that you'll be creating over the course of the cohort. So this is a really unique experience with a lot of opportunities to learn and grow and step outside your comfort zone, but with some really phenomenal facilitators that are going to help you along this journey, because I know a lot of times as an educator, we feel like we're in a silo, we're teaching by ourselves, but we aren't. We have so many other people that are doing the good work that we're doing, and we just need to find those people that help reestablish our why, help us confirm that, yes, we are on the right path, we are doing the right thing. And so IDEA has worked very hard to create many opportunities for you to connect with those people and connect with us as well. So once again, the IDEA website has all of the summer programming right here in this one-stop shop. You click on the one you want, and then you're able to register for that cohort, workshop, or MicroPD. And then save the date. IDEA you will be back August 1st through 3rd to help you rekindle your spark and reimagine your why in education. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer at this point, and hopefully you'll be able to sign up for one of our amazing summer PD sessions.